Well, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Welcome to Zyxel's Tech Talk. My name is Tri Nguyen. I am the product manager and sales manager here at Zyxel North America. Good to have you here. Today we'll be talking about new partner solutions. Just overview, if you're a new partner with us, it's a great place to get new information or get information on kind of a wide variety of what we offer here at Zyxel and get you kind of started on your pathway to becoming partners with us. If you already are signed up with a partner, thank you for doing that. Hopefully this will be informative for you and get you kind of a good baseline on where to start. Maybe also get you thinking about some of these solutions that you might be able to offer to your customers. A little bit of housekeeping. If you do have any questions, please use the Q&A part of this webinar, and I will try to answer those in line as we go through. And if we do have time at the end, we will also cover those slides at the end as well. There's a lot of slides to go through, but let's start right now by jumping into the introduction. We are Zyxel Networks. We've been in business now for over 35 years, 100 million devices making connections, 700 plus employees worldwide serving in 150 different markets. Over 1 million businesses work with Zyxel solutions today. We work with industry leaders and partners with them to providing different types of solutions and services. So just here's a kind of a small list of who we kind of partner with and work with. We are also internationally award-winning brand. So a lot of different awards, including some of more recent ones that are not currently on this slide. But we are a channel-friendly vendor. We make and we run through the channel. We have people here who are here to support you in every part of the business. So David Chen, Andy, Gujral, Jacob Olson, they all are account managers for the different regions. We operate in the West, Central, and East in Canada. And we're here to support you in all your needs. So pre-sales support, post-sales support, if you need tech support, RMAs, if you have questions on pricing or deal registrations, or you need to need help with certain distributors, we interface with them and work with them as well to make sure that the products and your accounts and all of those discounts, et cetera, are loaded properly in the system. To give you an update, because we do have a lot of questions regarding this, especially in recent months, because the kind of the ever-changing landscape of product and tariffs and where it's produced, et cetera. I wanted to give an update to you all. All Zyxel firewall switches, access points, they are all NDAA compliant, meaning that they're not made in a factory that's or using components that are from places that are banned, you would say. And there are select models that are TAA compliant. And we do have plans to move more models to TAA in the future. So you can see on the list here, these are the current, probably our most, I would say, most popular SKUs that we do sell are these models. And thankfully, they are TAA compliant. There are some of the models maybe are still transitioning in as we are receiving stock. But primarily, in general, you can look at and see, the part code number is USAM. Those ones are for, North America. Those are the ones that are made typically in Taiwan, which are TAA compliant. There is one error though at the top. I just noticed the USG Lite 68X has not yet translated into the TAA compliant SKU, but there will be in the coming months. We continue to work from a tariff perspective to just remain competitive in the market. So we look at the price, we look at our competitors. We also look at the value that we've added into our products versus the competitors, and also working on manufacturing in places outside of China as well, too, just in terms of to managing that risk. The latest price list that we just released in May, you can check within distribution and some of these models. There's actually price reductions. So we actually are kind of going the opposite direction of what tariffs would normally do. But we understand that we have to maintain competitiveness, even if we suffer, in that, but we will work all that out in the long haul. But for you, especially if you have customers who have, uncertain on what to do, when to move on a project, et cetera, I would say if you are promoting Zyxel or you have a Zyxel solution in place now, that it might be a good idea for you to try to close that as quickly as possible because we don't know how this will change in the next 60, 90 days. And so there is potential of price changes, whenever that may happen, or even if competitive pressures like move up and move out of a certain price point space, then we have to kind of move with them as well. So, definitely take this as an advantage for you now to close business and or reach out to those projects that have been kind of on the edge of making that commitment. Please go ahead and like push them for it. So one of the main selling points, I think, of what Zyxel has is what we call Nebula, and it is our cloud networking platform. It is a platform that allows for MSPs or partners to become MSPs very easily. Let's see, Robin did have a question. Do you have any files or your components to design in IB Wave? I have to look. We do have um, um, some of those kind of files, but you might have to send me an email so I could check with our systems engineer or check with our marketing side to see what kind of things we do have, um, to see if it fits your needs there. A lot of times it's just like Visio type files or maybe just graphics or designs of where the ports and such are. So I don't know how complex of a design that you're looking for those kinds of components. Um, Now, going back here, Nebula is our first full stack cloud networking solution for SMB. It allows for you to become an MSP or just manage devices on their own if you're just an IT manager. This is the first, this is a 100% cloud solution. It was launched back in 2016. It has a complete network stack solution of products from security, wireless and switching networks, and also some LTE products as well. But there are well over 100 products now supported in our Nebula platform. And that is our commitment that all new products that we do push into this business space is going to be Nebula compatible, Nebula capable product. We feel that when our customers and our partners do use our solution within Nebula, the technology will change. They will replace, Wi-Fi 6 with Wi-Fi 7 today, and that will be Wi-Fi 8 or 9, who knows when. But the management capability, the onboarding and controlling that technology is now in an easy to use central location. So I'm going to tell you about why Nebula is important, especially if you were trying to create or become an MSP today. You have to buy the equipment, you have to install them, you have to have a way to monitor it. So you have to build out all this. You have to have some sort of backdoor access to the equipment. You have to have monitoring platforms, data storage for all those logs, and set up complex ways to upgrade or make changes across multiple devices, and then manage all those different users. But what Nebula does is it simplifies that because we are doing most of that, work. You still have to buy the equipment, you still have to do physical installation, but a lot of the monitoring, being able to have access to configuration, the monitoring platform is already there. Data storage is managed within the cloud. It simplifies the upgrade process, so you can upgrade firmware or send different configurations across multiple sites, very quickly and easily. And user management can all be done in a central location as well, without you having to install your own Radius servers, et cetera, to do those kinds of security management. So we want to say hello to free network management provided by Nebula. It is a single pane of glass that allows for you as a partner to manage multiple customers that may have multiple sites. You can set up without even unboxing, taking the units out of the box. You simply scan the QR code in our app, or you can type that into your system, say that it applies for this particular customer. Once those devices are powered on and plugged in, they call home back to the Nebula platform and say, "Hey, who do I belong to?" Download its configuration, downloads the latest firmware that's available for it, and it's ready to go in minutes. You have access anytime, anywhere you have internet connectivity. So you have access when you have a browser, cellular on a tablet, wherever it may be that has a browser and internet connectivity. You can make changes, you can make configuration updates, you can check on and troubleshoot the entire network for your customers. There's no additional hardware or software that you require either. You can configure and monitor all these devices without putting in a cloud key or installing another like CNA device or a cloud controller or putting software on a PC or a server on location or anything like that. Everything is housed within the hardware itself. So you don't aren't dependent upon maybe a router in that network in order for you to use this. You can use all of those devices independently of each other. So if you do migrate and want to try the Wi-Fi solution in the cloud, you can do that with other vendor equipment as the infrastructure, or you can choose just the switches or just the firewall. But there are benefits when you do use the entire Zyxel stack. It allows for you to do guest network access. So if you want to do captive portal on the AP level, you can do captive portal on the gateway level. So it's not dependent upon having both pieces in order for you to provide that gateway functionality. So you can leverage an existing solution there, but provide new services to your customers. User and device management, being able to authorize from a security level, auto guest protection with isolation within the network. So when you have a guest network, they're isolated from anybody else, any of the other private VLANs that you may have within that same physical system. Connect and protect allows for you to then manage maybe threats that are coming in from an access point. It can detect maybe some sort of malware or some security issue with a certain client. The gateway can then communicate that to the AP to isolate that user or to block them from that network. Remote connectivity is simplified as well. If you want to do VPN, we can do site-to-site VPN, so you can connect offices within this cloud platform very quickly, easily. You can do fully meshed VPN. You can do hub and spoke, device to site or site to devices, or you can do remote users using like a client software, VPN IPsec client, to back to the offices, etc. There's also uh, remote access point tunneling as well. So if you do deploy a access point in a remote location, you can utilize those to build a tunnel directly back to the firewall. So now it's an extension of your office space without having to install a new router or have complex VPN setups within the laptop, etc. They just connect to that special SSID that you've created that's part of that network, and now it pushes it through to back to that office space. You can manage all the users, et cetera, in the cloud as well. So if you don't have your own Radius server that you want to do two-factor authentication, WPA passphrases or username access, guest network access, and what we also call dynamic personal pre-shared key allows for you to create those as well and manage those systems. So just imagine an office that has a single or multi-dwelling unit that has a single SSID, but based on the personal passphrase, the Wi-Fi code, is what most people call it, that it dictates which network they're in. So it's connected to the same SSID, but different passphrase. Now everything that's using that same passphrase is now under the same VLAN. So that could be your guest network, that could be your private network, or you can use it for your voice or video, that kind of application. But then without the confusion of multiple SSIDs in that network. You can then update efficiently over the air. You can schedule updates for firmware updates or configuration changes, and schedule those at more convenient times that you don't interrupt business, doing it after hours, etc. Most of our partners just set it for an auto, and it typically on those we do take those already in consideration. So in the West and East, it's usually in the between like 2 a.m. or 1 a.m. Pacific to like 3 or 4 a.m. Eastern time. So it's within that window of nobody's really working at that time and space, and it's been it's been running really well in that space. So people have been just using it that way. You can use this to help for like maybe some automation, or if you are a kind of a smaller MSP or a smaller VAR and you want to be able to reach more installations, but without having to increase a lot of, I guess, effort. You can create things like cross organizational synchronization. You can do clone of sites, cloning of sites. You could back up and restore device switches and APs as you need to do break fixes. You can do VPN really easily as well. And the auto deployment is great because of that auto provisioning capability through that QR code scanning makes it just really easy for you to do and pre-configure those devices. The cloning, I think, is probably one of the best pieces because you can create your templates, do that one time, and say these are your kind of best practices for your customer of this type, even. And then when you do sell that to a customer, you can then clone that site into the new customer and then use that to edit, that temp from that template base and edit out to make it specific to that customer. So that really saves you time in creating these templates. Once you've done it, you kind of have them, and you can multiply that across. So imagine if you do have a customer has a multiple retail stores that they're pretty much exactly the same, except maybe the SSID they wanted to make it the store number or something like that. You can easily create the template that gives you that baseline and then just change the SSID to fit your needs, and then you're ready to go. Once you have those devices, you just have to scan in the QR codes for those components that belong to that customer, assign it to that customer site, and then send it off to get installed. And the installation process is really easy now because you don't have to do network configuration. It's already done in the cloud. It will just download it. You get visualization of the network as well, like never before. You can see auto topology of the VPN tunnels that are connected to where, site-wide information on what's connected to the different ports, real-time port utilization, and PoE utilization as well. Physical stacking, if you're trying to manage multiple switches together in maybe an easy way. You get live diagnostic tools, application that tells you about threats, reporting, all of that within the cloud platform. So again, it's very powerful and it's very scalable. Like I mentioned, over 100 devices now, including security switches, Wi-Fi access points, and some LTE products as well. And did I mention that it's free? It actually is. So the base platform for Nebula is free. So we offer what we call Nebula Flex. So all of our products do have something within the description that says Nebula Flex or maybe Nebula Flex Pro. But what is Nebula Flex? Nebula Flex is just the concept that you can choose this product to work in standalone on-prem as you would normally do a typical, user interface. You log into it, you configure it, and then you're done, right? Or you can flip it within and manage it in our Nebula Cloud platform. And you could kind of switch between the two. Just know that if you do switch between the two, you have to kind of reconfigure them in a sense, like because they're now taking kind of a different identity. But from the beginning, you make your choice. That's probably the best way to do it is to say, hey, we're going to standardize on everything in the cloud. And I think most of our partners who do use Nebula today, they love the cloud so much that that's all they want. They don't want to manage or touch the standalone side. So we want you to have that experience as well. So that's kind of the concept. I did mention that the base pack, which is what we include in our products, it's free. There are some feature differences, but most of our partners, once they kind of get a feel of what Nebula does, they move into the Pro Pack. What Pro Pack provides is things like 365 days of logs versus the base pack only gives you 24 hours of log. That's kind of one of the fundamental differences. But because if you are running an MSP business, and you are managing their network, if anything happens or there's a threat or there's some audit that needs to happen, you need to have that information logs to help you provide to wherever, right? To the authorities or to your customer to help you and help facilitate troubleshoot what happened in that network. And it also unlocks a lot of AI tools and AI diagnostics and also a lot of band steering functionalities that help for like Wi-Fi and also storm control and things. If you actually misconfigure product like in our switches, it can help to identify that and mitigate that as well. We do offer also what we call an MSP pack. Just think of that instead of a 30,000 foot view, it's like a 60,000 foot view. It gives you some scalability if you have like multiple technicians, multiple regions of customers. I would say if you're managing more than maybe like 20 customers that have a lot of different sites, you might want to go to the MSP pack. We are constantly adding more functionality to it as well. So, look forward to that as well on what maybe at some point it makes more sense for you to go to that MSP pack, but it lets you kind of divvy up and manage different authorities, different groups that you can then assign to different customers. So it allows for certain technicians to get alerts from just certain customers rather than the entire customer base, things like that. So we provide a complete comprehensive product portfolio. The top row you see up there is mostly our I would say our flex products. They work within Nebula, or you work in standalone mode. But then we usually have versions or models that are called Nebula Flex Pro. The only difference is that it comes bundled included with 1 year of Nebula's Pro Pack. So you already have that full unlocked Nebula Cloud functionality, all of the advanced features, the 365 days logs, all included within that bundle for 1 year. So you'll see our wireless, our switches, our access points. Usually for the firewalls, if they are the bundled models that include the full UTM security suite, it also then includes that 1 year cloud bundle as well. So just keep that in mind. So what's included? Like I mentioned earlier, 24 hours of rolling. Let me get my laser pointer out here. 24 hours of rolling logs here on the base pack, but most of our partners go to this 1 year. You can have a mix and match, so you don't have to subscribe everybody into that. It's by organization. So if you have a certain customer who, aren't subscribed to your MSP service, you can put them on base pack. So you have visibility, you have access to the auto provisioning, you get all of this information here, the captive portal functionalities, etc. You still have a lot of basic functions within that. But then for your other customers, you can have a different org that is on Pro Pack that has 365 days logs. And then also the big pieces, no limits on account organization or admins or even authentication entries that you have. So an unlimited number. We do offer a plus pack, which is kind of in between. It gives you 7 days of rolling, but every org has a limit of like 100 user entries. So for authentication, etc. So there are some additional, functions, and there's a lot more functionality, I would say. In ProPack, things like change logs is big, especially if you're trying to audit. So then that way it will log if somebody goes in with a certain account and makes certain changes, it will make those logs. It will identify those logs. So then you can go back and say, oh, that was the reason why, something stopped working because so and so went in there and made this actual configuration change. And it's also for auditing, especially for security side, to make sure that somebody didn't open up a hole or a back door into the network that's now being exploited, et cetera. And then also the big one is the cloning of the sites, creating those templates, and you can then clone them into the different sites there. So because we believe in Nebula so greatly, and we want you to experience it as a partner, if you have not, maybe by a show of hands, how many of you in here have used Nebula already? Just a show of hands, just click on that little hand if you have used Nebula. Robin, thank you. So we always find that there is actually a big, thank you, Thomas, a big percentage of partners even have not moved into that cloud space, either because they think there's a cost or maybe they just don't trust it in a sense. But again, this platform has been around now since 2016. And it's also GDPR compliant for like Europe and privacy, all of that. And they're very strict on that. So from that perspective, it's very secure. We're also using Netconf, which is a industry standard for the configuration. And none of the traffic that your users are using are going to our cloud. The only thing that's going to our Nebula cloud is management, configuration, and those logs. We don't send user traffic through it, so we don't scan those things. Those are just going directly out into the internet, unless you have a firewall, which then does the scanning, at the local level. But again, because we do trust and we want you to experience Nebula, we are now offering a free, risk-free 60-day trial. All you have to do is become an approved partner to get access to this. And if you decide to keep it during that 60 days, then we're actually going to offer it to you at a 40% discount. So you can just buy it, keep it for your own use, or we've had some customers who've taken the demo and now they've moved it, installed it into a customer prem, and now is offering that as a service to them with that. So you becoming a partner is free. There's no cost for you to join. There is a limit of one kit per tier, and I'll talk about which of these different tiers. You can buy them or you can access them through distribution partners, through your distribution partner, like D&H, TD Synnex, Target, Ingram Micro, etc. We can provide additional kits on a per case basis, but yeah, keep it, play with it, test drive Nebula. But if you want to return it after 60 days, just let us know. Send us a message, say, reasons why you didn't want to use it. We want your feedback. We want to know why, or maybe it works well, but you just don't need it right now. We will send you then a shipping label and you'll send it right back to us. So again, risk-free, kind of maybe the only thing that you have to spend on your side is your time. But I think it'll be worthwhile for you to take a look and test drive that. So we have 3 Nebula demo kits: SMB, SMB Plus, and SMB Pro. And so the SMB is kind of a flavor. It's more like a gigabit focused. It gives you a USG Lite 68X firewall, which I'll talk about later. It gives you a gigabit PoE switch, and it gives you our Wi-Fi 6 kind of low entry, access point, all of which can work within Nebula. You can still mesh with that AP as well to our 68X, so it's meshable, but it's to test maybe, you have customers who maybe just want to use gigabit. A lot of our customers are moving towards to the SMB Plus, which gives them the full multi-gig flavor. Everybody's moving from multi-gig, and the trend is now multi-gig. I'm sorry, the trend is to multi-gig away from gigabit. So we still give you a multi-gig capable firewall in the USG Lite 60AX. We now give you an XMG 1915, which is a multi-gig PoE switch, and then that works in the cloud, and then a Wi-Fi 7 NWA 130BE that works with multi-gig capability as well. So now you can test customers who have gigabit or even higher than gigabit speeds on an internet connection and be able to showcase that and again test it out. We want you to tell us how well it works for you and those kinds of environments. But if you're looking for a full security solution, if you're doing PCI compliance, HIPAA, any of those kinds of things that might be a concern, or different verticals, like finance or things that are hospitality or healthcare that are sensitive to data and information or protection, or you're trying to push cybersecurity insurance, et cetera, then you want to go with the SMB Pro, because now we give you a full-fledged USG Flex 200H to try out, has full UTM services, has kind of your enterprise class, business class type of security solutions, gives you a multi-gig switch, gives you a Wi-Fi 7 with multi-gig, and now you pair that together in the cloud, and now you kind of have a full complete solution to test out. So again, you can take one or all 3 if you'd like, but we want you to be able to experience all of those functionalities. Because Nebula, it's that cloud management, allows for you that quick and easy setup in the cloud, auto provisioning capabilities. It provides remote management options, that visibility with that anytime management. The visibility is one of those biggest things for an IT manager. Anybody who wants to become an MSP or even just an IT person, they are always trying to find ways to make a backdoor or ways to get information from that network. So if you are a break fix customer today, you definitely should try Nebula, because now you could be proactive when something goes down, rather than your customer saying, hey, my Wi-Fi stopped working, I don't know what's going on, and you pretty much put in your hands, I guess I'll have to send somebody out there to take a look. You can actually be the one to say, hey, we just noticed your access point is down. We're going to send somebody out there to take a look at that. We're going to do some remote troubleshooting first, and then we'll send somebody out if we need to, right? So then that way it's now a better customer experience. Managed providers can benefit for using any of these devices, a single pane of glass, single vendor that provides you your entire network stack. So there's no finger pointing on who's installing what. You could try for 60 days, test drive it. We also offer limited lifetime warranty on these business products, free US-based tech support on these business products. You have access to our sales manager teams, our systems engineers, all of that as your resource. So we're providing you all of this support on our products and helping you making the right decisions with your customers on what to install for the equipment. We don't want you to just be on your own and be just left to your own to decide. We want to be here to help. If you are not used to that yet, Maybe you're trying to do it on your own, but please use us to help you to make sure that you install the right equipment in for the right applications. The worst thing you could do is install something and you've already had a hard time to try to get them to buy a Zyxel product, and then now something is wrong because maybe it wasn't the right product that would fit that application. And so we don't want that kind of experience to happen to you or your customers. And again, becoming a partner is absolutely free. You will automatically get silver discounted pricing through distribution. And by being a partner, you have then access to, based on your sales, you can get up to 20 percent margin selling Zyxel business class products. So pretty lucrative in that regard, and selling hardware where maybe some of the competition or maybe some of the vendors that you are selling today have almost zero hardware and you're just hoping to make some margin on the installation or maybe the managed service part. Now you can kind of encompass the whole thing into a complete solution. So in the last 30 minutes here, I'm going to talk more about specific products or differentiating technology solutions within the different product lines. So I'm going to start with wireless. It is the one that's most front facing, right? Everybody knows about wireless, loves wireless, and hopes that they can connect to it. But the number one kind of complaint is this wireless stinks, right? Have you ever been anywhere, person's house or a hotel, and that's the number one complaint that you have, right? This something stinks. It's just not working right. I could see the signal, but it's not going through. And we'll talk about how we can solve it with the Zyxel products. We do smart mesh capabilities, so you can mesh them between APs. We even offer up to the WPA3 enterprise security level. Our roaming features are all part of the standards in the industry. We can do traffic shaping. We can do band steering. We can direct users to the right access point that maybe is a better fit for them. We can provide security at that edge using connect and protect licenses that can then do dynamic, DNS and IP reputation scanning at the AP level, and then using collaborative defense response when you have a security firewall in place as well. So now they can communicate and help. Wi-Fi aid, like I mentioned earlier, the AI to help you to facilitate better usage of the airspace or the channels that are there. Visualization of being able to drill in and see and troubleshoot your Wi-Fi users and see, hey, so and so is saying that they are having a poor connectivity. You can log into Nebula, drill into the access point that they are on. You can see what the AP is seeing and the signal strength. So you're like, okay, so and so's iPhone is now at negative 85 or negative 90 dBm, so it's getting really poor. So how do we solve that? And you can use that to kind of advance your processes and try to find ways to mitigate that. We design our products. We take pride in how we design our products. So we take RF design very seriously. So you can see in a lot of our products, if you ever picked up one of our products, and when you do pick it up, uh, take a feel, like, hold it. It is a lot heavier than you would expect from that little package, but it's because we put a lot of shielding into the product. We are making sure that the different radios are not interfering with each other. The antennas are on their own base. If you ever open up or pick up a competitor product, you're going to go, it's not very, it doesn't feel well made. Again, because we've taken that into account. We want to make sure we use kind of the best components that we can find, solid state capacitors, all of that to make sure and ensure the life and the quality of the product. So one of the main things why Wi-Fi, stinks a lot of times is because what we call co-channel interference. Everybody is trying to talk with everyone in every channel all at the same time. It's kind of like, I guess, if you have multiple kids and they're all trying to talk to you, you can hear them all, but you can't understand a word that's coming out from any one of them. So that's kind of the idea that how we use that to mitigate kind of the Wi-Fi here. So we offer kind of two things. One is dual optimized antenna and smart antenna. So what dual optimized antenna is, allows for you to choose products that have this functionality to change kind of the orientation of how your APs produce the Wi-Fi signal, how it transmits that out. So typically most APs in the market today, you either have to put it on a desk, so it's a kind of a horizontal plane, or you mount it to a ceiling. Again, still horizontal plane, but in some scenarios where you cannot mount it in those orientations that it's made for, people will put it against the wall, right? So we have a lot of wall installations, but here's the problem. The antennas were made to kind of go across the horizontal plane. And when you put it on its end, it's now going up and down in a vertical orientation. So now you're now causing, especially if you have multiple floors, you're not getting the coverage you need in the far reaches of the floor. Instead, it's going up and down within the floor, just going into the ceiling or going through the floor. And if you have multiple floors, now they're causing interference. So what dual optimized antenna allows for you to do is to change that orientation so that it's now flipped the antenna. So when you put it on the wall, it now transmits the signal out along the floor. So on the top of, it's off the top of its face. So now it allows for you to get better coverage, less interference. With smart antenna, it's a little bit different. So with co-channel interference, to solve the problem, typically, if you have multiple APs in a coverage area, they'll cause interference between each other because they're causing noise and the channels may overlap. And so one way to solve it is to turn the power down. But if you turn the power down on the AP, that means you get less coverage, you get less noise, but then you lose coverage and have dead spots throughout the location. So what smart antenna does is it works in a way that it increases capacity, increases coverage while reducing interference. So how does smart antenna work? So typical antenna, it's an omnidirectional, it kind of just puts it everywhere, or it can be a directionalized. So it can, kind of focus in on a certain area. And it's, typically if you have a static, then it just points in that one direction. But what smart antenna does is it actually uses the capability where it will look at where the client is, look at any particular interference, it scans for all of that, and it finds an optimal pattern to communicate with that client. And even if that client is moving and roaming, then it's also changing that pattern as well. And it does that automatically as it moves around. And that allows for you to now hear the client better and also speak to it or transmit to it a lot better as well, without the device on the other end having to have this technology. So that's a big difference. That means even I would say, unsophisticated devices like just a QR reader or a barcode scanner, things like that, or a POS system that just has basic Wi-Fi, doesn't have any special Wi-Fi cards in it. It can still benefit from smart antenna. So I always tell my partners, hey, if you're deploying in an area where it might be Wi-Fi challenged, or you have a high density of clients or high density of other APs or networks, please go with smart antenna, because even though it may be a little bit more expensive, but you are paying for the highest quality um, uh, interference mitigation product that it's available in the market today. So definitely take advantage of that. So we break it up into multiple series. You have the simplicity, flexibility, ultimate, and pros, ultimate series, and then a project-based series as well. But those are, again, we just kind of split it up that way to help you. Most of our customers are in that flexibility or ultimate side of it, depending on what kind of customers you have in your customer base. And we also have Wi-Fi 7 products. Everything is always sometimes faster and better, right? So it is faster, but I would say that the faster part of this technology is not what is most important. I think today's day and age, our internet connection is what is probably the bottleneck today. Many of us don't even have past gigabit. So, what's the point of 47 gigabits, right? Unless you're doing something locally, right? You have applications like voice video, you need raw footage, or it's a lot of data that's going to your servers, things like that via wireless, then there is benefit there. But most of kind of your average business, I would say, or your typical business, they just want to make sure that their Wi-Fi is stable, the Wi-Fi is dependable, reliable, and it works well, right? So it's not about the full speed anymore. So we still will see a upgrade cycle from Wi-Fi 6 to Wi-Fi 7, especially in those that would say that have Wi-Fi challenged locations or businesses. And the main reason that we love Wi-Fi 7 is I personally is because of multi-link operation. It's a function of that's Wi-Fi 7 that brings and changes the game here. Before in Wi-Fi 6 and previously, your devices had to choose whether to work on 2.4 gigahertz or 5 gigahertz. But what multi-link operation does, it actually allows for if your client supports this, so your Wi-Fi 7 devices, so as more devices are coming out with that built in, you're going to be able to benefit from this multi-link operation. Not only is Wi-Fi 7 2.4, 5 gigahertz, and 6 gigahertz range now, opens up a whole new spectrum, but now with multi-link operation, your devices can actually communicate on one or all three if it supports at the same time. So it's imagine now being able to talk on if it sees some packets at 2.4 and 5 gigahertz and 6. So now it can maximize even all three spectrums. It lowers the latency, it increases the data rate, it increases the reliability, and it avoids interference as well. So there's a lot of technology things that allow for it to utilize the spectrum in a more efficient way. So now imagine adding multi-link operation with smart antenna. Now all of a sudden it kind of opens up a whole new range of kind of increased reliability of Wi-Fi. So our flagship model that we have with our Wi-Fi 7 is our WBE 660S. It's built in. It's the world's first Wi-Fi 7 access point with smart antenna technology. So we utilize that within the system. It's like a 10 gig capable uplink ports. It's PoE++ powered. It has different shieldings, heat spreaders, all of that to make sure that it's as ultimately efficient as possible. So this kind of device would be used in high density locations. We do offer some of the lower ends, which is part of our Nebula demo kit. We do give you that WBE 130 to utilize in your deployments to test out the Nebula platform. But you can use it in high density locations like schools or connecting, a larger area. We do a lot of kind of car dealerships and car parks, etc. Or even for high bandwidth applications. If you're doing VR or AR, you don't want to use compressed, you want low latency video via wireless. This is also the kind of product that you would use. On the switch network side, I would say this is the kind of the least known or least people care about, but it's one of the most important. Not only is it providing network connectivity, but it's also providing power to most of your devices, whether it be voice over IP phones, IP cameras, access points, Wi-Fi 7, or even access control panels. There's a lot of applications, obviously, that use PoE today. And so I think it becomes a very important piece of the infrastructure, making sure that you're delivering that traffic and the power as efficiently as possible. So as just a quick education, you may have a lot of customers who are at like Cat E already, and that can support up to 5 gigabits to the 100-meter length. But if you do want to offer anything like 10 gig, then you have to use Cat 6 or Cat 6A cabling to do that. All three cables will support the PoE++, the 60-watt standard, so that's okay. But again, keep that in mind as you do that. And then there's three different things or different types of PoE right now. There's additional ones like Ultra PoE++ that does 90 watts, but most of the products in the industry today use the 30-watt standard, so PoE+. But some of the Wi-Fi 7 with triple radio, our smart antenna, that type of model require you to use the PoE++, the 60-watt standard. One big difference between our switches and others is that we use what we call a smart PoE, intelligent PoE. It allows for us to look at the actual draw of the devices and use that against the budget versus just assigning it, hey, this is a 30-watt unit, so I'm just going to assign 30 watts to the budget instead of the actual 15 that it's using. So that's how we do our smart kind of PoE. It does the automatic topology functionality. It does VLAN, voice VLAN. You want to do automated VLAN, it can do that as well. It can auto detect different devices to put on VLANs. You can do virtual stacking. You can do the configuration backups, the site cloning. And I mentioned earlier too, the machine learning to identify any kind of broadcast storms or any blocks in the network, and it can auto correct those things as well. So it can help you fix those issues. In the same kind of vein as the Wi-Fi, we offer simplicity, flexibility, ultimate, and project-based kind of models. To most of our customers and most of our sales happens in that flexibility space with a lot of our MSP going into the ultimate side. So just kind of give you again the range of product. The 1915 is kind of our entry level cloud managed. So we offer also PoE injectors. These are kind of unmanaged devices, but if you need to add an injector to maybe power an AP that's not nearby, or to power up a camera, you can utilize these as a standard PoE. So we're using the standard PoE power, 30 watt, 60 watt, and 90 watt standards. So the XMG 1915, we also have a gigabit version of this, but this is our multi-gig. So all the ports are 2.5 gig copper with 10 gig uplink SFP pluses, models that then have either 130 watt or 180 watt power in 10 port flavors and 18 port flavors of these devices here. And again, you can manage it with Nebula. The GS1350 is our CCTV specialized switch. It does all the other functions that you would see in a normal switch, plus the hardware supports things like extended range. So you can actually push PoE power up to 250 meters. So that's 825 feet approximately. So it's going well beyond the 100 meters of your normal Ethernet cable. So typically, when you're trying to extend to a camera that's beyond your normal Ethernet run, you had to put like an extender box in between to kind of relay the signal again and provide PoE power, to that remote device. But now using this kind of switch, you can actually do it right just on the switch and not have to worry about an extender in between. So it provides power. It also does continuous PoE, meaning that if you do like a change that would require like a software reboot of the device, it still will supply power to those cameras. Because what I've heard is some of those cameras take forever to reboot and come back online if they've been power cycled. So now if you can eliminate that, that means you can eliminate the extra downtime for those cameras to come back, where, if you had to reboot the PoE device. You also then have advantages within the Nebula Cloud to do automatic detection if the device is not working, if it's not transmitting traffic, to do an auto reboot kind of cycle on those ports. So again, you can use this for active management or just even to troubleshoot. Rather than sending somebody out there to unplug it and plug it back in, you can do that remotely through the cloud by just turning off the PoE power on that port and turning it back on, and then seeing if you really do have to roll a truck or not. But most of the time that resolves, I would say, 90 something percent of most people's issues if they just reset the thing. GS 1920 series, this is our flex model. This is where we sell a lot of the products today because they can choose to go to cloud or not, but then gives you gigabit ports plus different options. We do have an XGS version of it here that gives you then 10 gig uplinks. So it's still gigabit ports, but now 10 gig uplinks for your kind of your core 10 gig, if you'd like, with power up to 375 watts of power per PoE from 24 and 48 ports. And then our XS 1930 series, which will also become the XS 1935. These are our multi-gig 10 gig. So all of the ports are capable of 10 gig, uh, whether you choose the fiber version or you choose the copper version. And then we have a PoE one. And so the 8-port PoE gives you 375 watts on 8 ports. So quite a lot of PoE power. So if you're doing, if you need to power up 8 Wi-Fi 7 access points with the smart antenna, this is your perfect box to pair it with, and still giving you the 10 gig core network that you're connecting to. The XMG 1930 is a multi-gig switch, so it's typically 2.5 gig ports with some 10 gig capable copper and 10 gig uplinks. And this one also comes with a massive 700 watt PoE power capable. So there's several ports that will do, like 8 ports will do ultra PoE, and then all the other ports will do the 30 watt standard. You can also use this switch in a layer 3 mode. So if you need to do Pro AV or network AV over IP type applications, or if you need CLI access, or you need to unlock some additional layer 3 functions like static routing, etc., you can do a one-time license update and it opens up and unlocks those features for you. And now you have a layer 3 type switch to meet some of those applications. So you can standardize on that without having to move to another layer 3 type switch. This is our full layer 3 access stacking capable product. It's a gigabit port still with 10 gig uplinks, but then it has the full layer 2, layer 3 functionality built into it without having to use any licenses. But it does have models that will offer to use 600 watt of PoE power, all the way up to 960 watts on the 48 port version. So quite a big beast there, but very, very affordable at a price point that even if you look at it now, it's quite incredible compared to what you might find in the competition space here today. And if these are one of the models that did have a actual price reduction in the product to be even more competitive or just to maintain competitive space there. XS 3800 series. This is kind of a all 10 gig ports. It has 8 combo, 16 SFP pluses, and then 12, and then 4 other ones that are multi-gig, so you can flip for copper, etc. So it's kind of a Frankenstein switch. So you have you need a top of the rack that is bridging multiple different types of applications with 10 gig. You can use this one. So you can use it to connect, SFP fiber, SFP plus fiber, copper 10 gig to, different servers or backups, etc., or to become your central core switch for your MDU application and 10 gig across that MDU. So you can use this in smaller type office applications, slightly larger office with multiple people, how many ports you need for both physical desktop, for your wireless, for your voice. So 8 ports, 24 ports, 48 ports, we have different versions of that. And this last piece of product is our security product, manageable within the Nebula platform. It's security that is constantly evolving, so you don't have to worry about it because we do and partner with companies that will provide us that information and provide us the technology in order to provide a secure network platform for your customers. So we're empowered by some of the best in class security experts, some of the names that you see here that provide the different layers of security threats. No longer should you ever put in just an SPI firewall that you get off the shelf somewhere, plug it in and think that you are secure. That is going to be it's going to be ransomed probably pretty quickly. It's probably going to get taken over and then used for nefarious reasons and nefarious things. Um, those are the things that you want to avoid, especially in this day and age. Your customers need to make sure that their network is always working, making sure that it's also secure without sacrificing the speeds that are, constantly increasing. So some of these are the partners, some of the names that you've recognized here. We offer 30-day trials on pretty much all of our security products. So if you want to just try out just content filtering, our secure Wi-Fi functionality, or even the full-blown gold security license that unlocks every UTM feature, works in the Nebula cloud, all of that, you can test it out for free for 30 days. And that's something that might be an advantage for you. You can install something into your customer prem, even behind maybe something that they have existing, and showcase to them how much more this can catch or this can pick up or how this can offer you a protection that you currently don't have. And we can implement that within our cloud solution. And I'll mention why it's also important to showcase that your customers. Our products, the security solution is also AI powered. So it's constantly learning and evolving from other locations, threats that are in the networks around the world, and providing those informations back to kind of the central brains of the system, and then be able to disseminate and give that information to all others and share it to all the other devices to now be able to protect against that, especially for like sandboxing functionalities or IP reputation functionalities, things like that that can happen very quickly. And in order for you to be protected, it has to also mitigate to or propagate to the other devices as quickly as possible as well. So how you showcase security to your customers is very important. It's very nebulous, I would say. I mean, we do Nebula, but it's kind of nebulous on when you sell somebody a security function or a package. How do I know I'm secure, right? How do I know this is even doing anything? Or how do I know I even need protection? You're selling me something that I can't see. So what Nebula and what SecuReporter built into Nebula and a security product will do is you can actually provide a customized report that tells you, well, this is all the computers are going to, what websites are most people are going to in your organization, how much bandwidth's being used, which computers are using the most bandwidth, um, what numbers of viruses or malware or ransomware we've blocked on this device. So this is where, again, that 30-day trial could be very beneficial. You can literally enable it for 30 days and then provide them a report. Hey, we enabled it for free. This is the security things that now you have access to if you continue on using the service. It detects even abnormal user behavior. And then as you use like kind of the pro, you can also use the customized reporting. So you can put your logo, you can customize what bits of information you want to send to those specific customers. And that could be part of your monthly routine now, because now, you provide that report to your customer as you send the bill or on a renewal, or maybe it's a quarterly renewal, whatever it may be. That's kind of your value, a deliverable that is a tangible deliverable to tell the customer, this is what I'm paying for and this is what's protecting me. And when they see those kinds of threats that are there, I would say the likelihood of them continuing the service is very high, because they're going to say, well, if I don't subscribe to this, now I'm all of a sudden, these threats are going to be going after me. So I need to protect myself, my business, and that connectivity there. Um, so you can centralize all of the security functions, configurations. You can synchronize them, and you can download them across. You can push them across different sites. Maybe it's a single customer, or you're trying to mess with VLANs or VPN connectivities. However it is, it allows for you to manage it kind of across multiple sites to secure that secure Wi-Fi I mentioned earlier. You're trying to do two-factor authentication for your VPN tunnels using like a Google Authenticator, etc. We have VPN setup wizards to make it easy as possible for you to configure devices or native devices to make connections to the offices to there in an encrypted way. So we have effortless, simplicity, flexibility, and ultimate in most of our customers. As usual, is in the flexibility space. And I would say the flexibility now is going to be the USG Flex H as well. So the USG Lite is what we offer in our SMB and SMB Pro Nebula demo kits. It has built-in ransomware protection, so you don't have to pay for a subscription and still have some sort of security. It has built-in Wi-Fi 6 that can mesh with any of our Nebula-capable access points. It gives you dual multi-gig 2.5 gig ports, so you can use one on the WAN and then one on the LAN. You can auto VPN, make this the connectivity to like another office if you want to use this in a remote office. But then there's also an Elite Pack upgrade. It allows for you to do some 0-day threat management as well as content filtering services. And that's a very affordable. The street price on that is, I think it's $49.99. So $50 a year for an additional layer that you can sell in terms of security process. And it auto provisions the onboards with Nebula as you would normally see. And then the USG Flex, it's on last buy. It's transitioning to the H series. So we are moving customers. Some of the products have sold out. So we are, constantly migrating people to the H series. But the H series is our high performance model. It has enhanced UTM functions as well as the higher speeds if you want to support multi-gig or beyond gigabit internet connectivity without sacrificing security. Some of the models also have integrated PoE ports, so you can pigtail off maybe an IP camera, a voice over IP phone, or a wireless access point. Since these don't come with a wireless access point version, you can piggyback that and buy the AP that you want, Wi-Fi 6 or Wi-Fi 7, to extend that onto the network. So if you do get that SMB Plus product, it doesn't have the PoE version of it included, but if you do want that to test out for some reason, then we could offer that to you as well. So most of the series, it's just about performance. So how you look at this is you take maybe the maximum UTM sessions here, or the speeds, and you divide it by 50 or 60%. So you multiply it by 50 or 60%, it gives you a better idea of what is the real world throughput. So if you are looking for multi-gig UTM capable, you probably are looking at more of the 500H or the 700H. If you're beyond gigabit, or maybe the customer has gigabit, the 200H will probably be best fit for that. Now, I did mention some other competitors in a sense on how we're different. A lot of people do like the kind of the Ubiquiti Dream Machine out there, but we have done tests and comparisons that we outperform even like a FortiGate Sophos. The Ubiquiti Dream Machine, I would say, is kind of on that lower tier, especially when you look at it for malware detection. So please be careful out there. make sure that when you do deploy security, that you are deploying security in the right class. You can see here, we are competitive. In fact, in most cases, we are actually detecting better than even the FortiGates and the Sophos product here. But the Ubiquity Dream Machine is quite low. So I would say, please be careful. You can still choose them. Partners have a growing fond of them, but it's not the same, I would say, in terms of that class of security. So I just want to bring that back to you, connecting workers, teleworkers, offices. I'm just speeding through these because we are hit to time. And if you want to join our partner program, we offer our bronze, silver, gold partnership. We work through D&H, Ingram Micro, TD Synnex, Wave, Target, Blue Star now as well. So we want you to get to gold. So however we can get you to gold, we would love to partner with you to do that. And if you want to connect with us, Zyxel-US-channel. If you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, it's just look for Zyxel Try, T-R-I. Or if you want to watch this recording or other webinars, you can check us out on Zyxel America channel on YouTube. Since we don't have time for any discussion, if you do have any questions, please send questions to me, tri@zyxel.com. Robin did ask, do we offer training? So yes, there is an education on our webpage, on our site. But if you do ask or work with our sales rep, we can get you as a partner, basically a code that allows for you to take those courses for free. So please take advantage of that. And reach out to your account manager and ask them about that. And because there's been certifications for engineer or sales, like a sales kind of track. There's an engineering kind of track that it takes you through. Well, and it's a self go as you need, kind of a self-taught, I guess, or self-paced kind of education site. So it helps you kind of get a lot of that information quickly and easily and get certified there for that. But definitely, if you don't want to pay the paywall, then reach out to your sales rep, because that's one of the kind of advantages that you have by being a partner. Well, I thank you for your time. I did go over like a minute. So hopefully I didn't take away too much time from you. I appreciate you spending this time this afternoon with me, and look forward to speaking with you and working with you on new projects or conversations, trainings. We're here to help you. So please use us as your partner for anything you need regarding networking. So again, my name is Tri. Thank you for being here. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you for joining.